Hey, what's good everyone? Welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into the wildest theories and mysteries from your favorite shows and movies. Today we're switching gears from the usual Marvel, DC, or Hollywood blockbusters to something a little different, something nostalgic, something that's probably been a part of your childhood. Doraemon. Yeah, that blue robotic cat from the future who's always bailing out Nobita with his crazy gadgets. But hold up, this isn't just a trip down memory lane. We're about to unpack a mind-bending theory that'll make you rethink everything you thought you knew about this simple anime. At first glance, Doraemon seems like a fun, lighthearted show about a clumsy kid named Nobita who gets help from a futuristic cat to fix his everyday problems. We've all laughed at Nobita's epic fails, cried when he finally stands up to Jian and Suneo, and dreamed about having Doraemon's gadgets like the Anywhere Door or the Time Machine. But if you've watched enough episodes or movies, you might have noticed something off. Things don't always add up. Nobita's behavior changes from one movie to another. His room looks different in different episodes. Heck, sometimes his entire personality shifts, and he feels like a completely different character. And don't get me started on his house. It's like the layout of Nobita's home is playing musical chairs every episode. What's going on here? Is this just lazy writing, or is there something deeper at play? Spoiler alert, I think it's the latter, and it's gonna blow your mind. Let's talk about one specific movie that got me thinking: Doraemon, Nobita, and the Three Visionary Swordsmen. If you haven't seen it, don't worry, I'll break it down. In this movie, Doraemon pulls out a gadget called the Dream Machine, which lets Nobita enter a dream world where he plays different roles, like a heroic swordsman. Sounds cool, right? But here's where it gets weird. In these dream worlds, Nobita's friends, Jian, Suneo, Shizuka, and even his school teacher, are all there, but they're playing different characters. They're not just themselves in costumes, they're entirely new versions of themselves with different personalities and roles. Now here's the kicker. The Dream Machine is supposed to create these worlds inside Nobita's head, right? So why are his friends showing up as these alternate versions? There's no logical connection between the real-world Jian or Shizuka and the characters in Nobita's dreams, unless these aren't dreams at all. What if the so-called dreams in Nobita and the Three Visionary Swordsmen aren't dreams but glimpses into parallel universes? Think about it. Each dream world feels so real, so detailed, with its own rules and stakes. What if Nobita's Dream Machine isn't just making stuff up, but actually connecting him to alternate timelines or universes where he and his friends exist as different versions of themselves? In one universe, Nobita's a fearless swordsman. In another, he's a space explorer. In another, he's, well, still kind of a loser, but you get the point. The Dream Machine could be a multiversal gateway, letting Nobita tap into these alternate realities and experience them as if they were dreams. Now let's take it a step further. At the end of Three Visionary Swordsmen, there's a scene that's super easy to miss but changes everything. Nobita's school is shown on top of a hill. Sounds normal, right? Except if you're a Doraemon fan, you know Nobita's school is always at the bottom of a hill in the real world. So what's the deal? Did the animators mess up? Or, and hear me out, is this a clue that Nobita's actions in the dream worlds messed with the multiverse? Maybe he didn't just return to his own universe. Maybe he got stuck in an alternate one where the school is on a hill, not below it. This tiny detail could be proof that Nobita's been hopping between timelines and he didn't even realize it. Let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. One of the weirdest things about Doraemon is Nobita's house. If you pay close attention, the layout of his home changes all the time. One episode, his room has a window on the left. The next, it's on the right. Sometimes the house has a traditional Japanese sliding door. Other times, it's a modern setup. Even the shape of the house from the outside shifts. Sometimes it's boxy, sometimes it's got a sloped roof. What's up with that? Animation errors? Budget cuts? Or is Nobita's house a multiversal hotspot? A place where different realities bleed into each other? Think about it like this. Every time Doraemon pulls out a gadget, especially something as wild as the Time Machine or the Anywhere Door, it's messing with the fabric of reality. The Anywhere Door lets you go anywhere, but who's to say it's always taking you to a location in your universe? Maybe sometimes it's dropping you into a parallel world where things are just a little different, like a world where Nobita's room has an extra window or his house has a different vibe. Over time, these tiny changes stack up, and we, the audience, start noticing that Nobita's world isn't as stable as it seems. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room: time travel. Doraemon is obsessed with it. Doraemon himself is a robot from the future, sent back to fix Nobita's life so his descendants don't end up in a messed up future. But every time Nobita and Doraemon travel to the past or future, they're changing events. And if you know anything about time travel, you know that changing the past doesn't just alter your timeline, it creates a new one. Every time Nobita goes back to stop Jian from bullying him or to fix a bad grade, he's potentially splitting the timeline and creating a new universe. So all those episodes where Nobita's messing with history. He's not just fixing his life, he's building an entire multiverse of Nobitas, each living in a slightly different reality. This explains why Nobita's personality seems to shift. In some episodes, he's a total coward who cries at the drop of a hat. In others, like the movies, he's brave, resourceful, and even heroic. Is this just character development, or are we seeing different Nobitas from different universes? Maybe the Nobita in Nobita's Dinosaur isn't the same Nobita from Nobita's Great Adventure in the South Seas. Maybe each movie is showing us a different timeline, a different version of Nobita's story. Now let's talk about the Blue Cat himself, Doraemon. He's from the 22nd century, sent by Nobita's great-great-grandson to fix the past. But what if Doraemon's mission isn't just about fixing one timeline? What if he's a multiversal agent, hopping between realities to keep things in check? Every time he hands Nobita a gadget, he's potentially opening a door to another universe. The time machine, the anywhere door, the what-if phone booth, these aren't just cool toys. They're tools that could be rewriting reality itself. Here's a wild thought. What if Doraemon knows about the multiverse? What if his gadgets are designed to stabilize or manipulate parallel worlds? Maybe that's why he's so chill when Nobita's actions cause chaos. He's not just fixing Nobita's homework or saving him from bullies, he's making sure the multiverse doesn't collapse. And when things go wrong, like in Three Visionary Swordsmen, maybe Doraemon's the one who quietly nudges Nobita back to the right timeline, or maybe he doesn't, and Nobita's stuck in a reality that's just a little off. Let's break down some more clues that Doraemon is secretly a multiverse saga. In Doraemon, Nobita's Great Adventure in the South Seas, Nobita and his friends end up in a pirate-filled world that feels totally disconnected from their usual lives. The tech, the setting, the stakes, it's all too grand for a normal adventure. What if this wasn't just a random trip, but a peek into another universe where pirates and high seas battles are the norm? Or take Doraemon, Nobita's space heroes. The gang becomes superheroes on a distant planet. Sure, it could be a fun sci-fi romp, but what if they accidentally jumped into a timeline where they're actual cosmic heroes? Even in the TV series, there are hints. Remember the episodes where Nobita uses the what-if phone booth? That gadget lets you create a world based on a what-if scenario, like what if I was rich, or what if I was good at sports? Every time Nobita dials up a new reality, he's essentially creating or visiting a parallel universe. And the crazy thing, these worlds always feel fully fleshed out, with their own rules and consequences. That's not just a gadget, that's multiverse-level power. So here's the million-dollar question. Is Nobita stuck in a multiversal loop? Every time he uses one of Doraemon's gadgets, he's either creating a new timeline or jumping into an existing one. And if the School on the Hill thing is any indication, he might not always make it back to his original universe. Imagine this. The Nobita we see at the end of some movies or episodes isn't our Nobita. He's a Nobita from a slightly different reality, living in a house that's just a little different, with friends who act just a little off. This could explain why Nobita's life never seems to get better, no matter how many times Doraemon helps him. In one timeline, he stands up to Jian and becomes confident. In another, he's back to being a crybaby. Maybe Doraemon's mission isn't to fix Nobita's life, but to keep him moving through the multiverse, learning lessons from different versions of himself. It's like Nobita's stuck in a cosmic game and Doraemon's the only one who knows the rules. Alright guys, we're just scratching the surface here. The Doraemon multiverse theory is so deep we could go on for hours. Is Doraemon secretly a multiversal guardian? Are Nobita's adventures creating infinite timelines? And what's the deal with that School on the Hill? We're gonna dive even deeper in part 2, where we'll explore more movies, more gadgets, and more clues that Doraemon is way more than a kids show. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Your brain might just explode. So, what do you think? Is Doraemon a hidden multiverse masterpiece, or am I just overthinking a fun anime? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button if you're as mind-blown as I am, and subscribe for part 2. We're just getting started and the multiverse is calling. See you next time.